Good morning. Good morning. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, July 10, 2021, Saturday. Talk being quality and safety in relation to COVID-19 and work. Title being Civil Field Engineering, Quality, Structure, COVID-19 HSC or SHE engineer's role, designs, construction, methods, contracts, organization, communication, coordination, etc. etc. Talking every day, thinking that people shall realize facts. People shall understand their responsibility, their duty, and come to point to know quality aspects, safety aspects, which are very, very significant in life, without which life has got no meaning. Certification means competency, and competency means you have to deliver accordingly. I don't want to see certificates only in show, only in papers. These certificates should speak in work. If they can't speak in work, I think there is no meaning of these certificates. Of course, there is no meaning otherwise. When we talk of quality, we talk of safety. Certainly currently issue of COVID-19 appears. It's not new now. It's quite grown up, 1.5 years baby, which should be considered accordingly and respected. COVID-19 name is special, in fact. It's wonderful. It's wonderful that it has got this name by virtue of year in which it took birth. It came or it appeared on earth. Maybe it had been there for long, but its recognition came in year 2019, and that's why it's given this name. It is natural, it's wonderful, you can say. It has 1 and 9 digit with it. If you compare 1 and 9 digit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, means it's very specific, don't you think so? It is 1, 9, and 2 is power of that, means below 1 there is 2, means 2019. Forget that, 19 is enough. Means it is just 2021 now. Means 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, means up to 2-9 it has to work. 10-year assignment it has got. Maybe, maybe not. Considering numeral values, spiritual values, I can say it has not reached even age of adolescence. COVID-19 is only in number 1 now, 2021. So you are so much unhappy with it. We are so much, annoyed with it that we cannot tolerate it. Better to tolerate it, because this body is still unknown. is still unknown. We don't know who is it. We don't know its quality. We don't know its power. We don't know anything about it. Which means nature is not really, till now, to disclose secrecy, discover, to announce secrecy of this entity. So if nature is not ready, this means we cannot know about its secrecy. I find sometimes there is no news about COVID 19 in many papers which I daily browse. Sometimes I find many news about COVID 19 from around the world. It happens. I think world is fed up. It seems world is fed up of COVID 19, but COVID 19 is enjoying laughing, stalking, teasing humanity. Is still a baby, is still below age of adolescence. This COVID 19 is playing like kid, children, child. How a child plays with toys, and it's playing with us. All human existence has become toys for COVID 19. Sometimes it looks ridiculous, sometimes it looks entertaining, and sometimes it looks as if we should be very serious. But we are not serious, that is also one of major problems. Despite having lost crores of individuals from earth, and despite being, you can say, caseloads in crores and crores around the world, we have not learned any lesson. All over world people have not learned any lesson, unfortunately. We want to lead a life as we used to lead prior to COVID 19, existence, survival, happiness. Remember, whatever has gone, that is history. Nobody can change what is seen. Had we capacity to change it, we would have changed it. But I think we are not in that level, in what level COVID 19 is. It's not a question I'm going to admire it. It's a fact. If scientists from around the world, I think thousands and thousands, scientists from around the world have not been able to work out to finally decide what actually is entities, those highly educated echelon class have not reached any conclusion. So what I am and what you are, we can only think to survive successfully with good health and with good quality. Quality characteristics, parameters, powers of COVID 19 may take decades to be disclosed. We can't control it. When something is imposed on humanity by that power, there is no way out. There is no encounter we can do. We may say, saying is one part, doing is another part. But as rightly understood, that always when you know nothing about something, we cannot do anything. Can we stop rain? We cannot stop rain. Can we stop sun heat? We cannot stop sun heat. Can we stop airflow? We cannot stop airflow or thunderstorm. There are so many. Can we stop power of sea? We cannot stop power of sea. When something we do not know, we cannot, I should not say we can't. Something we can't, then what is our alternative solution? Only alternative solution is that we have to keep ourselves safe from rain, from cold, from heat. Only we use certain means that we are not directly affected adversely by impact of that power. We use warm clothes during winter and we use light clothes during summer. We use certain, you can say, overcoat or raincoat or umbrella. Likewise, we take precautionary measures. That is only an answer. Until we know what is COVID, how it works, what is its theory, what is behind this theory, what its lifetime, how it acts, until we know all this medically or otherwise, we don't have any direction. We don't have any concrete direction from governments, from scientists, from doctors. Everything is being under trial. Trial is an important part of life, in professions, in health, or wherever you want to see. Trial and error is empirical world formula. Trial and error, where there is no mathematical application, there is no scientific logic, but we conduct trials and errors and see what result comes in, which we say empirical application, empirical results. Those empirical, actually, those parameters of empirical world are being walked over. I have been just moved in 1.5 years, all world people. We could not tolerate, we are so used to luxuries, we are so much used to comforts that we cannot tolerate single attack by COVID. Just in one attack, there have been millions of cases, crores of cases, and crores have left this world. Just in one small effect, a small impact. This means our resistances in body, our immunity is very low. Those who are very well educated and highly profiled people, and those who are very less educated, very low educated and strong people, both are different. Those who work hard have very inferior level of luxuries. They are more stronger physically, may not be mentally, but physically they are very strong. And I think their system is likewise strong. Those who are very highly placed, based on education, based on economic power, based on their standards of living, they may not be very strong. They are, you can say, born AC people. They are born car driven people. They are born flight people who cannot think below that. Those people who cannot think just to walk, walking means for them is unknown. I have seen many people who may be not knowing what is meaning of walking because they never walk out of home. They just come out of AC residence, enter in AC car, and then go to office or wherever they work. They are AC born people, AC born, air conditioning born people. For them, natural air has no relation. For them, nature has got no relation. For them, only money, material, equipment, for them is defined standard. They cannot come out of any any comfort zone to enter into natural zone. Likewise, their respective immunity levels are different, and air condition cannot be applied to whole nature. It's very small percentage wise in volume of nature, and volume of AC is equivalent to negligent, it's equivalent to ignorable, you may say. Just like light, electricity supply, if you compare power of sun to power of artificial electrical energy that we have on earth, if whole night you use your all bulbs on, even then you cannot illumine sky, you cannot illumine even 200 meters of earth in height. But sun, that is so powerful because it is natural entity, it illumines whole solar system. That is difference. Natural power and human power. There's a lot of scale difference. A lot of scale difference. Just like mind of a person is very powerful, body is not that powerful. Mind of a person is so vast that person can penetrate every material, every medium by thinking. Just like water can enter soil and seep into, water can erode mountain, water can rust steel. Of course, in certain time, we have to think our power. It's not question of COVID-19 alone. COVID-19 is an unknown. It's very powerful. That's why it has successfully attacked humanity. I have to agree. Even if you don't agree, I don't mind, because your agreement won't solve any problem. Problem is that COVID exists and we do not know how to deal with it. Just like we do not know how to deal with nature, because nature made us. We did not make nature. This point everyone has to understand. There is also a clear indication that science has advanced, but it has not advanced to that level as nature is advanced. Science can advance only when our that power who produced all likes it too. We should know about that. Means our quality levels are very low, our safety levels are very low. We consider ourselves quality people, quality living, but in fact, this is not quality level of our people, and this is not quality living. We are not very healthy, we are very weak in fact. Those people who cannot work hard physically, who cannot walk in sun, who cannot drink hot water, those people are very weak physically. Mentally maybe they are strong because job factor says they are work. Mentally maybe writing is very poor these days. So what I mean to say is, when we don't have any solution, what to do? Considerable answer is, only way out of this drastic problem which has been proliferating every day from 0 to 1 to 3, then 5, then 7, 9, 10. It has been proliferating. Despite vaccination, we are not able to stop COVID-19 spread. Fact remains, we have to accept this fact. We cannot go against this fact. Certain disappointing news we get every day. Till today, there is no uniformity in answer in masses, that something has been held, something has been controlled in relation to COVID 19. Abusive answers, abusive research, no one is sure, just statement, some announcement, some news, something you will find every day from morning till evening. A kind of indecisive standard, a kind of indecisive scenario has erupted all over the world. Nobody knows what is answer to this problem. What is answer to this problem? If we do not know answer to this problem, it's same answer that we have to use umbrella in rain, or we have to use umbrella in sun, or we have to do something that we stay comfortable in isolation of nature. And when you stay in comfortable zone, in isolation of nature, you live a fake life. If you are not with nature, you are isolated from nature, and that isolation is defective. In fact, you can't be isolated from nature, you can't grow up your immunity. That's my answer. In such scenario, when we do not know what's going to happen, only one way is keep protected. Because it's true that protection is better than cure. Protection is not very expensive, but cure is very expensive. If you contract COVID 19, first point is that your body has got some impurity, and second point is that you will not be able to recover from it. Always abusive term recovery is being used all over the world. How many have contracted and how many have recovered? Fact remains that there is no recovery. This all misleading information. You cannot recover from COVID 19 in lifetime. I understand, being a layman in COVID understanding, I am completely layman, but I also understand that this is foreign material for my body. This is something my body cannot accept. So means something unknown to body stays there. Even after time of isolation, I am not safe. Because how can I be safe after isolation when even after vaccination I am not safe? I am not criticizing vaccination, but results are telling that vaccination is also a trial. It's not an answer to problem. COVID 19 is getting more and more power every day. More and more power. They say, sometimes WHO says that this is virus of interest, variant of interest, or this is variant worry to concern. When they say it's variant of interest, they mean to say that they want to study more on this, they are not sure about this. And when they say variant of concern, they have known something about this and they are worried how to handle this. So there are so many variants now, COVID 19 variants. Initially it started with SARC, it started with COVID 19, SARS-2, which later on changed to many mutations. After making many mutations and variants, it became now alpha, beta, gamma, delta, lambda. Many types of such variants are available in some part of world, in another part of world, and more than 100 nations are being affected by delta. Delta, which can be a triangle if you say shape wise, or it can be something else. I take it triangle. Delta appears to be very impressive. Of course, lambda also is about delta, but I'm not sure about complete news of lambda, but enough news is available for delta. Delta is very, very powerful. It has even you can say crossed crossed resistance provided by vaccines. Just now I got news that in one first vaccine, it's only 10% effective in first vaccine. Only 10% effective. This means Delta is very powerful. There are so many countries which announced before we are safe against COVID. Our people, if they like, they can remove masks. They removed. But now they say, no, there was some error because we could not identify Delta, what it is. So better use masks. This means there is no certainty, complete uncertainty exists, and only way out of this suggestive way, not suggestive, you can say effective way. I don't depend on governments because governments are led by non-medicos, non-scientist people. They are only politically interested, they are not interested in humanity. Time has proven it now. Crores have gone and no politician could save anyone. Forget saving, they could not provide means for support. That's also true. We did not find any means through politicians. So condemn politicians to an extent COVID-19 is concerned. They shall not help you. They will not help you. They will use your life for that's politically, nothing else. And this is for all politicians. Because our life is not related to politicians, our life is related to ourselves, to our family, to our neighbor, to our state, and not to politicians. These politicians are only interested in their survival, though many politicians have also been affected by COVID-19. We must understand like this. So my dear friends, why I am explaining all this? Reason being that nothing is in control, and those who claim this is in control, they only lie. Yes, you may not get so many news because nobody wants to give facts. No one. It has been like political censor news. It's maybe now COVID censor news. They won't give you facts. They will promote their business, probably vaccine business or some other business, at cost of lives of people. They are interested in business and not in life and death. Even if you die, it doesn't make any impact on their health. Nobody shall concern about us because when the crores have gone, they could not save them. So how can I expect that my life is safe in their hands? No, it's not safe. Yes, your life is safe in your hands. Do not accept what you are told. Yes, vaccine, you use it, you get it. That is precautionary measure, not treatable measure. It's not cure. It's just like umbrella on your head to protect you from splashes of rain. Nothing else. It's better that way you take it. Don't take it that you got some treatment. You will not be impacted. You will not be contracted by COVID-19. No way as such. But protection is better, and only protection is that you use masks all time. Possibly eyeglasses also. But mask is very, very significant. You may be at home, you may be outside, you may be in party, you may be somewhere else. You may be working, you may not be working. Wherever you are, avoid contact with people and avoid yourself from whatever possible infection, because infection is also available in air, and air is available everywhere, in your home, in your bathroom, in your kitchen, in your toilet, in your drawing room. Wherever you sit, you work, you sleep, air is available. And in the air, there is every possibility that you may get impact by virus. Use of AC can upgrade it. Use of AC can multiply effect of virus. Use of cold water, chilled water creates a condition where virus can flourish. You know all this. I'm not telling you something very unknown. I'm just trying to say protection from virus impact lies with you. It is your own arrangement you can make. Why should somebody tell you, use this, use that? Don't you understand this? Can't you comprehend this? Why should somebody tell? Why don't you tell someone, please use masks? Why should I remain dependent on government or of my country or some other country who have failed themselves, who have not understood anything till now? Why should I keep myself off from mask wearing? Is there any problem? If you can't wear mask, what's problem? And if you wear mask, what is also a problem? What is that? You may complain anything. I don't know. Maybe very light in weight it is. Also, when you go outside, though people don't go, they use cars, but if you go outside, you will have impact of dust, impact of wind. Mask protects you from that also. Try to understand. If you wear mask and there is dust, dust won't enter your nose. That's another benefit. Mask is nothing new in professional world, in construction world, in other worlds. There are so many works where mask is required. Mask is nothing new. Yes, for everyone it could be new because in this ordinary living, mask was not required. But now it's required, and it's required until we have solution towards COVID-19. So do not think somebody should tell you, somebody should say to you. You decide your way, and don't condition it. Don't qualify something on this, that I am alone, I don't need this, or I am at home, I don't need this, or I need this only when I am in crowd. All these conditions, these you can say reservations, must be diluted fully. Keep concentrated that I have to use mask. That is only a solution if you want to avoid impact of COVID, because vaccines will not also save you to that level. Vaccine has limited work, they have limited scope. Vaccine's effect is not unlimited till now. Yes, if in future these are curing, you can say these are cure. From trial they convert to cure. I think that would be a nice situation. But maybe when, we do not know. Only quality standard is check yourself. Small boy, big boy, child, old, senior, veteran, youth, all. Only you have to qualify yourself. You have to be under quality of mask. It's not big issue. When you can wear shirt and pant, sari or kurta, you can wear them. You can wear them and live safe. Same way, you wear mask and live safe, at least until COVID goes, or even if doesn't go, you have to stay with it. When there is bad smell out of air, you stay. You don't go away. You are forced to stay. Even by keeping some palm on your, covering your nose with palm for time being, or resorting to some handkerchief on your nose, you walk out, you pass by. Same, you can consider that your mask is a passerby of COVID. If you have to bypass COVID, you have to use mask. No other way out. Use mask, this is must priority. You can say not a required priority, not a suggestive priority, but a must priority. And second must priority is eye protection. This is only solution. This is not something you consider a part of your life until COVID solution doesn't come in. We don't find solution of COVID-19. It is only suggestion, and I have suggested that you have to consider COVID-19 a preventive measure. That I am just telling you, because you test also just to know whether or not you have been contracted. Yes, you have to spend time and spend money on that, because there is no mandatory test here. Government has not worried about test. Still they are not worried. I don't know what's in mind of government. I least bother. But because life is yours, it's not government life. Your living is your living, for your people, for your family. And if you want to help your family people, you have to help yourself. And that help yourself is resort to protective measures like using masks, using goggles, and of course take hot food. Enjoy, time would come. You will enjoy life if you are alive, if you are safe. And if you are not safe, you may be very rich, it won't help. You may be billionaire, trillionaire, won't help if you are not safe. Therefore, quality and safety are very important issues. And that's why I am just pressing my citizens, my co-citizens of world citizen, and particularly in our country, India, Bharat, that use your mind. Do not depend upon what others say. Keep yourself protected so that you are protected, your spouse is protected, your children are protected, your neighbors are protected, your guests are protected, your relatives are protected. Whoever come in your contact, that person is protected. It's your duty, it's duty of everybody. Just like we say, safety is a responsibility of everybody. Here, this part of quality is responsible for everyone. It is responsibility of everyone. Not one, not two, but all. You have to think that way, or else you shall always be in problem if you get COVID case, and those who stay with you, who reside with you, they shall also be in problem. And to avoid that problem, you have to just use mask, nothing else. You say, I can't breathe. Well, I don't accept this. It's not necessary you use mask, conventional mask. You can use your handkerchief also, tie up on your face. It shall allow ventilation from below. Means it won't close your nose. Your nose shall work just a bigger size of handkerchief. You tie up like a mask. It will help you. Only that I can say. Now, I don't think more than this I should explain, because there is no reliability in such news, in fact news which you get every day, all mixed up news. One says something, another boy says something else. Now if there is only 10% efficiency in vaccination, and Pfizer like companies are demanding that there should be booster in vaccines or third vaccine, tomorrow there may be fourth vaccine, who knows? Means until we arrive some solution, there will be, you can say, number of vaccines. So best is, okay, vaccine is one part of solution, preventive solution. There's another part solution is you test yourself, and also use mask. Use this as integral part of your wearings, your dressings. I think this is only way. You should not shy in using mask, because first of all it protects you. Second, it's environment pro. Environment pro means you don't infect dust, you don't infect humidity from moisture, or you can say from air. Moisture doesn't go into your nose, so you have a life of environment impact free. I think you understand this point very well. You are all people who have experience now. COVID cannot be stopped. There is no power on earth as this. As today, there is no power. Tomorrow there can be some other situation. But today we can say, we can relate to no solution, COVID-19, haphazard solutions only. I am not going to criticize those solutions, but there is no logical answer. No logical answer of this COVID. We have to be very careful. That's why I put always this file of quality and SHE on this screen, so that don't forget quality of your life, because life quality means COVID has impacted upon, it has penetrated into yourself, which you should not have allowed, but we have allowed. We have to suffer. Till now COVID is not curable, so we have to be very protective, and this is an only way. Do not be emotional, do not be excited, do not be anxious, be logical, be serious to keep COVID off. And if you don't do that, you just move along. All these people move, which we call bhed chal. Bhed chal means without application mind. You have to move in unknown directions. That movement should not be your part. It's your life. It's not life of crowd. It's not life of your government. It's your life, your family life. If there is someone to suffer, it is you and your family members, nobody else. So if you respect yourself, if you respect your family, it's better use mask. If you don't use, you will lose your time, you will lose your money, you will suffer, and maybe you have to depart. Who knows? This is a point where I'm serious about. We are all good mind people. I think you'll understand. Now, I was talking about safety, where we say no safety, no pain, and no safety, no pain. If you are safe, you know how to keep yourself safe while working, while doing anything. You shall not find any pain due to you adhere yourself to safety measures. And if you do not adhere to safety measures, shall certainly pain of whatever accident, or you can say whatever ignorance of measures. I do not explain same thing every day, but because I've gone through news and news are not encouraging, these every day are getting news as such disappointing, so we should be careful. That's all. Now I'll go back to my talk on safety, which is talking about study, permit to work, permit to work, how to obtain work permit for whatever issues in profession, whatever work in profession on operational projects where operator is available for that. There's some work we have to do, in which case we had gone through scope of that, purpose, definition, responsibilities, instruction, references, attachments, etc. that we had gone through, and also we had gone through first aid. First aid, I think, let me see, is first aid 1. It is also the first aid regulations that we had completed. It's now chapter 6, and also I think we have to refer to other chapter, that is, other chapter is, let me just see, other than this is, hold on please, just it is, first aid regulation, permit to work, and then housekeeping. Yes, housekeeping is also very important part. Let us do this better. Housekeeping. So we have here housekeeping also, and we have one chapter of permit to work, and then quality we have. So let us go to permit to work. We talked at length of permit to work, but we talked of, you can just centralize here and see what we talked of. Procedure, what we said, we just repeat in short. This procedure, this method that I am telling, covers implementation of P2 PTW. That's in short we call permit to work. Permit to work system is applied to a specific temporary or permanent construction. Pre-commissioning and commissioning works carried out under control of EPC contractor at construction site, including subcontractors' works. And specifically, purpose of this is very important, because to provide safe system of work for construction. Pre-commissioning and commissioning activities at project site. Permit to work or PTW ensures a control over construction by operating authority in case project is located within its jurisdiction. Now, what is operating authority? This point is also important, because I know it is, but everybody doesn't know what it is. Operating authority. Let us explain this. Also, live services often run within such areas that require certainly protection from damages due to construction activities, and therefore PTW or permit to work assists in performing such preventive measures. Operating authority. When we do some job, when we promote some project, until that project is constructed, delivered, We name it as project, this project and that project. Title of this project is this. Scope of this project is this. Contract and conditions of that project is. We see all documents we involve with that project. We call it project. We don't call something else. But remember that work does not remain project forever. That work never remains project forever, because status of project has to go one day. It may be design project or construction project or survey project or something else, where some scope applies. The scope is defined that this is scope in this work or in this project, and you have to deliver this. And once that scope of work after performance is delivered to its real owner, who started this project, who invested in that project, when delivery is done finally on that date, when you say project responsibility has been discharged, from that day onward, project term does not apply. During construction it was project, from commencement it was project, during tendering it was project, during design it was project, and when it is handed over or declared completed, it doesn't stand with name of project. Project finishes on date of completion, and then whoever takes over it, whoever is permanent owner of that done project, that facility you may call it now rather than project, that facility or that plant or whatever infrastructure it is, that infrastructure mechanism, that infrastructure system is now to be operated. It has to come to operation. That operation may be power station, that operation may be dam, water body, that operation can be, means whatever you can say, bridge, railway station, railway system, nuclear power station, certain refinery, or whatever, where operation is more important than construction. Construction has ended. Yes, maintenance comes into existence, into operation. So we call it operational maintenance. Both terms are called operation and maintenance. Project term does not apply. There is some owner, there is some authority that is responsible for that operation and maintenance, and we call that authority operating authority or operator, and that is permanent one, not for a couple of years. It may be for 30 years, for 50 years, for 100 years, I can't say. That is called operation or use of that work, that facility which was once defined project. That's the only difference. So maybe in that area where some operation authority is working, some plant is working, some infrastructural facility is working, in that area there may be so many services running underground or running above or on ground. Live services, not dead services. Live services often run within such areas, below ground, above ground or on ground. And no one has got any right to disrupt those services, to touch those services. If we have some work there, that work, if these services come in contact with that work, we have to do something, and we have to know these services, and we have to take permission from that operating authority. We are going to do this work in your area. You have to sanction it. You have to give license, kind of, or you can say a permit to work, if not license. Permit to work for a defined period, 1 week, 2 week, 3 days, 4 days, during which we have to work, and we have to know what existing services are available there, either directly, or we have to know through operating authority that these services shall be operated, shall be protected by us, or we have to tell them how shall we protect them, or they have to protect themselves. This is relation. No live services can be disrupted, and that's meaning of permit to work. And there can be any number of permits, whatever number of permits depending on work. And this I'm talking of major projects. When you have project there, project means another project, not this authority project. Authority operation is some new project in that area, and that project is linked to this operational area, and this operational area services are linked, or we have to connect to these services, whatever could be possibility. I cannot say at this moment that we can say. We have to coordinate with them in every respect, at every point, and by that coordination we have to protect those services, and that is what is required here. There are so many definitions we have already covered. I'm not going to repeat those definitions. We have done. Now we have to just remind me what kind of works can be in this. There's a small list here, though it's not complete list. Very small list. This can be there in within that authority we have to deal with. Under that operating authority we have to deal with for our new project. And this list of activities, it covers construction, pre-commissioning and commissioning of works. Just for reference, it is defined where we may require permit to work grant just for some, so that these operator people know some work is going on for something else, and they should know, and they should issue instructions and directions what those people involved in construction of that have to resort to. A kind of agreement between two parties, that's operating authority and contractor of that new project. Contractor as well as that client or that owner, which is also like that authority, another authority. This may be site surveys to establish survey marks, mobilization, temporary facilities, existing underground services, investigations, live electrical equipment related works, excavations works for foundations and for infrastructure services, underground utilities crossings, overhead work and power lines related activities, heavy lifts for equipment or other structural elements, interconnects internally as well as externally in plant areas, adjacent operations or work areas, hazardous flammable materials involvement, confined space vessels entry involved activity, hot work involving activity, pressurized pipeline works, live and energized systems and equipment related works, inert systems and equipment related activities, structural work activities, erection work activities. And as generally said, permit to work requirements shall be established either by a detailed review of proposed activity and acceptance of safety method statement, or by carrying out a risk analysis of work to be performed. Method statements and risk assessments, where applicable, shall be attached to authorized work permit application. Now there may be many considerations for this permit. Electrical isolation. There can be electrical isolation. There can be mechanical isolation. There can be mechanical isolation, then third party payment, protective equipment. So we will go one by one here and see what is that. Say permit consideration. Electrical isolation. Electrical isolation. Area authority shall notify competent person, that is electrical, to carry out necessary isolations or confirm existing isolation before signing permit. Though this we discussed, but I am just refreshing. Competent person shall complete project specific isolating certificate, attach certificate to permit from permit form and enter isolation detail. Isolation test confirmation is mandatory on permit. Lock and tag out procedures be implemented in line to comply with project procedure. Arrangements shall be made in accordance with employers' existing arrangements. Mechanical isolation. Area authority shall notify competent person, and that is mechanical, responsible for mechanical isolation. Competent person shall coordinate with area authority, EPC contractor, in preparation of line diagrams identifying spreading isolation points. Consideration shall be given to depressurizing and draining down lines, equipment in preparation for conducting mechanical isolation. Lock and tag out procedures shall be implemented in line to project specific procedure, and where appropriate shall be in accordance with employers' existing arrangements. Pre-commissioning and commissioning. After full or partial system, hand over to commissioning, that group shall be responsible for all permits issued to construction. External constraints, interconnections. Authority to permit shall be responsible for ensuring that all potential external constraints, namely buried services, adjacent activities, etc., are fully identified, referred upon permit, giving all necessary information to enable work to progress safely. When in doubt, authority shall indicate measures necessary, namely CAT scan to be conducted to eliminate certain potential external constraints which could otherwise pose risk to work. All works shall be subject to compliance with all project SHE procedures or safety procedures, construction site safety plans, and standard safety practices. Third party permits. I think we shall take over this a little later now. Third party permit, you can meanwhile go through this. Just going for 5-10 minutes for my daily routine. So we are talking about this in this scenario. Third party permits we are talking of here. Party permits issued to EPC contractor. Third party permits issued to EPC contractor or contractor suppliers shall be returned at end of each day to EPC contractor area authority. Area authority shall check and confirm that all permit requirements are in place prior to returning permit for work. To continue in designated area, protective equipment and precautions. When signing a permit, protective equipment requirements and precautions shall be identified by area authority in conjunction with activity supervisor, HSC representative, and in full compliance with project procedures regarding personal as well as other protective equipment. Protective equipment and precautions when signing a permit. Protective equipment requirements and precautions shall be identified by area authority in conjunction with activity supervisor, HSC representative, and in full compliance with project procedure regarding personal as well as other protective equipment. Vessel entry confined spaces. Entry permits shall only be issued after area has been inspected by safety representative and signed by all relevant discipline engineers. Minimum requirements demand adequate measures to be implemented, and responses to emergencies cover all personnel involved on operations. Requirements for confined space are outlined in confined space gas test. Area authority in conjunction with HSC representative shall decide requirement for gas testing, results of gas test. Gas test shall be performed by HSC department and results be entered on permit or results attachment, result attached prior to issue. HSC supervisor shall specify requirements for ongoing gas monitoring equipment testing during validity period. In this, first was, you know, area authority, which we defined, that is contractors, pre-commissioning, commissioning, external constraints, and third-party permits. Third-party permits issued to contractor or EPC contractor, subcontractors, suppliers shall be returned to end of each day to EPC contractor area authority. Area authority shall check and confirm that all permit requirements are in place prior to returning permit for work. To continue in designated area, protective equipment and precautions. When signing a permit, protective equipment requirements and precautions shall be identified by area authority in conjunction with activity supervisor, HSC representative, and in full compliance with project procedures regarding personnel as well as other protective equipment. Vessel entry confined space. Entry permits shall only be issued after area has been inspected by safety representative and signed by all relevant discipline engineers. Minimum requirements demand adequate measures to be implemented and responses to emergencies cover all personnel involved on operations. Requirements for confined space are outlined in confined space entry procedure. Gas test. Area authority in conjunction with SHE representative shall decide requirement for gas testing. Result of gas test. Sorry. Gas test shall be performed by HSC department and result be entered on permit or results attached prior to issue. HSC supervisor shall specify requirement for ongoing gas monitoring, equipment testing during validity period of work on permit form. So, application for a permit to work. Application for a permit to work shall be made by EPC contractor or subcontractor in charge supervisor who should complete A3 size permit to work format with included information relevant to scope of work to be performed. Permit shall then be taken to area authority and SHE representative for discussion, agreement and signature approval. Area authority shall make necessary arrangements for ensuring that all safety considerations have been met. This shall be ensured by inspecting through checklists and sections contained in check boxes on permit application form. Hazard identification. There are so many points that we have to consider in this. Hazard identification, then precautions, then notifications, then protective equipment, some other precautions based on following inputs, then area authority, then area authority. Advise nature of hazards that could be encountered. Advise nature of hazards that could be encountered. Precautions cared for. Advise what specific measures to be adopted. Then notification to affected persons, officials, titles to be notified for actions. Protective equipment, detail out all equipment to be used. Then some other precautions required. Mention specific additional measures. Based on foregoing input, area authority shall determine whether or not Applied requirement categories under a confined space or under a vessel entry. Area authority shall make arrangements with SHE department for gas tests to be carried out prior to work commences in confined spaces, vessels, etc. Which area deems to conduct a gas test? Area authority shall make arrangements with appropriate isolating authorities for electrical and mechanical isolation who would endorse permit in respective discipline sections. Radiography section to be filled by competent radiography supervisor. Permit shall be applied for as soon as possible, but generally a minimum of 48 hours prior to commencement of task. Commencement, signing on. Supervisor and area authority shall review permit with all necessary precautions to carry out work and supporting documents. When supervisor is satisfied, shall sign acceptance of terms and conditions set out on permit for works. On signing acceptance, supervisor accepts responsibility for work area, ensuring that all members of workforce are made aware of conditions on permit to work, using both permit itself and following START system, STARRT system, safety task and risk review, safety task analysis and risk review technique. Area authority shall then authorize transfer of responsibility to supervisor. Form shall then be given to SHE supervisor of permit for permit control, numbering and signature records endorsement for implementation. Now, distribution. Signed permit to work PTW with all attachments shall be copied and distributed as follows. EPC contractor, subcontractor, supervisor controlling work. First copy, area authority, and second copy, HSE representative. Upon distribution, work covered by permit may commence revalidation. Area authority shall approve daily recommencement of work by signing off and notifying time and date of revalidation. In cases where conditions change or terms are not implemented in line to conformance of permit, area authority shall withdraw permit. After conditions are reinstated, application for another permit shall be processed. In cases, says area authority shall approve daily recommencement of work by signing off and notifying time and date of revalidation. In cases where conditions change or terms are not implemented in line to conformance of permit, area authority shall withdraw permit after conditions are installed. After conditions are reinstated, application for another permit shall be processed. Suspension of work. All EPC contractor supervisors are to demonstrate a level of control. All EPC contractor supervisors are to demonstrate a level of control on all permit to work activities, including those of subcontractors. Where breaches of permit to work system are identified, EPC contractor, field superintendent and supervisory staff shall formally suspend work and sign off permit to work. Upon suspension of work, those responsible for work, subcontractors, etc., shall revisit workplace and formally submit a revised permit to work, allowing at least 24 hours for review and revalidation of permit to work. Application by EPC contractor to subcontractor supervisor. Upon cancellation and suspension of permit to work, subcontractors' operatives are to be formally made aware that access to work area is not allowed or permitted until appropriate corrective action has been taken to make area safe and go ahead for either revision or revalidation of withdrawn permit or issue of fresh one. Work completion and permit cessation, signing off. When supervisor is satisfied that permitted work has been completed or suspended for a sufficient length of time to warrant permit closure, supervisor shall agree with area authority and other relevant signatories that work is now complete or has been completed to an extent could be possible. Note, situations may occur where full scope of work cannot be completed. Example for explanation: a pump has been removed for repair. Isolations are still in effect and shall remain so until pump and all connections have been replaced under a different permit. Supervisor shall ensure before signing off permit that following activities have been undertaken. Permit requirements have been cleared. Area system is left in a safe condition. Materials have been cleared from work location. Personnel removed from work area. All necessary personnel have been informed about closure. Supervisor shall then sign off permit to confirm work completion. Mechanical, electrical, pre-commissioning, commissioning competent persons shall ensure that all isolations covered by this permit have been removed or transferred. Permit shall then be signed off as appropriate by competent person. Supervisor shall then take signed off copy to HSC supervisor, who would attach to original permit and sign off original. This permit is then no longer valid for further work. Area authority shall monitor and audit work to ensure timely closure and return of permit. If applicable, permit transference shall be indicated and area authority should then sign off for closeout of permit. Permit shall then be deemed invalid for whatever future work connected to that permit. Records. Original documents of completed closed permit shall be documented in a master file. I can say original reference documents of completed closed permit shall be recorded in a master file by SHE manager for history of work carried out. In addition, a register shall be registered detailing permits issued. These documents in some cases may be used in litigation and should be treated as project legal documents. References. Permits to work may be required to cover scope within following activity safety method statements. Method statements are here. Permits to work may be required to cover scope within the following activities. Safety method statements. Construction site mobilization, required SHE plan, records of existing services, site scanning surveys. Excavation safety, safety for equipment, site and surrounding services. Safe practices. Safe practices, general and specific method to be adopted. Temporary electrics from where electric supply to be provided, and relevant permission or precautions, for example, generator to be provided in oil plant area. Hazard control, method to control activity related hazards. Working at height, provisions respecting special belts and other equipment, confined space entry, hot work permits, etc. Lifting operations, third party certification, respecting equipment, safety assessment, adequacy of provisions, night working, is it really essential, and if so, does not disturb residents or others. Safety in radiographic operations, consideration about barricading, radiation, and only authorized personnel to ingress area. Scaffolding, complete professional management on designs, personal protective equipment, all possible equipment including respiratory one, isolation, tagging and locking. Whatever attachments we have to provide. So here is permit to work. And now housekeeping. Housekeeping, very important one, though it's very easy, but it's very important from safety viewpoint. Let us see what it does. Housekeeping. Housekeeping is very important part in life. It's not actually your homekeeping, but wherever you stay, in office, inside, in your home, or you may be in travel, wherever. The method is very important, and this applies to all areas of work, including offices, laboratories, workshops, fabrication yards, welfare facilities, and construction sites. And it's only minimum. You can include whatever you like where you work. Also apply to life camp areas or camp life areas, whatever you can say, including messing, mess or where you eat your food, toilets, recreation washing areas, laundries, security guards, external landscape, etc. It's a wide application of housekeeping. You can say it applies everywhere. Purpose of this method or procedure is to outline requirements for managing and controlling housekeeping operations during project construction and commissioning. Housekeeping is considered a delicate health issue, and in general it is ignored, but it requires attention from seniors from all disciplines. As we say, safety means safety, health, and environment disciplines to support project activities. And companies means ownership, organization carrying out job or project. Contractor means organization that is doing that job on behalf of that company, and subcontractor means that organization that is doing job on behalf of contractor and owner. Client means organization that in contractual terms is owner of that project or a promoter of that project or would be operator of that project. Personnel means all personnel involved on project site operations and activities. Responsibility means job and contract responsibility. Training means training imparted for specific safety topic on job on project site. Management or organization means organization, top, middle, and lower management. Safety leader or manager means a person with job title safety manager deployed by certain organization, and project leader or manager means a person as such with PM title deployed by contractor. Engineer means a person appointed by client or client company for an overall project responsibility. Employer is project owner, contractor is EPC contractor. Housekeeping is defined an act of keeping whole working environment clear of all unnecessary waste materials with no obstruction of whatever sort. Hazardous waste include batteries, fluorescent lighting, containers that have been used for transportation of flammable, toxic, or coercive liquids. So, this is hazardous waste. Positions that we have already talked of: project manager or organizer or leader is responsible for overall obligations to provide schedule or resources, direction, engineering solutions. while site leader responsible for overall site prosecution management, organization, overworks and subcontractors, site safety officer responsible for overall safety handling on site and report to project leader, site leader, corporate safety leader or manager. When I say manager or leader, is one and same. Construction leader, construction manager responsible to arrange all safety related resources and provide site team all requirements. Project site engineer responsible to carry out safety issues within section. Site safety inspector or engineer responsible to supervise safety measures on site and control safety issues should bring to site line organization to adopt correct measures. Site 4 lead or foreman responsible for compliance of safety measures as standards or as directed. An individual working on site responsible to maintain safety measures in case missing should bring to site team attention. Responsibilities. Already we have defined contractor site manager. In this case, what should do? Ensure that housekeeping practices are applied in conformance with this procedure and also other standard practices. Requirements implemented directly and through subcontractors. Contractors, health and safety environment manager who is responsible for practical development of this procedure and monitoring compliance. Subcontractor site manager shall ensure that sufficient resources are provided to implement this procedure and that procedure is applied correctly in spread. Subcontractor site supervisor, safety leader shall assign duties under this procedure for establishment and maintenance of good housekeeping standard, carry out regular inspection of all areas under respective control to ensure compliance, report to subcontractor site leader all concerned noted, all concerns noted with application of this procedure. An adequate number of containers for storage and disposal of waste material shall be strategically placed all over construction areas, camp and temporary facilities. Spillages such as oil or grease shall be immediately cleaned up by absorption either using inert sand or other suitable materials. Toxic, corrosive or other hazardous liquids shall be cleaned up in accordance with either manufacturer's instructions or complying with instructions given on material safety data sheet. All materials used to mop up spills shall be immediately removed to a safe place and stored in closed containers for safe disposal. Cables and hoses shall be routed. Cables and hoses shall be routed wherever possible above grade or concealed below ground to eliminate tripping hazards. Shuttering and other timber articles shall be denailed, stacked and placed in a barricaded location away from work areas and access roads. Nails shall be removed from all areas. Scaffolds, working platforms or walkways shall be cleaned and loose material removed on a daily basis. Designated areas shall be identified for racking and storage of scaffold, tubes, and fittings. Where materials are being removed from elevated structures or taken to such structures, proper arrangements shall be made to eliminate risk of injury to personnel working in such area by random availability of barriers, loose materials, packing, etc. A concrete washing area shall be identified for concrete trucks to prevent buildup of waste concrete in site area. External areas shall be frequently water sprayed to prevent dust blowing in environment. All accumulated material collected from all areas shall be, as soon as feasible, removed from site using shovel and tipper. Site should be seen clean, which gives a better look, and working in such conditions gives pleasure. During concrete pouring, concrete is dropped from pump as well as from concrete truck. Due to fatigue impact on concrete crew, draft concrete is not removed from site locations at end of pouring activity, which result in solidification of concrete. It has been experienced from sites that such waste concrete remains on locations for longer and removed when finishing activities start. Such ignorance does not help keep site tidy, and also it's not environmental friendly. During steel reinforcement cutting and fabrication activity, mounds of cut steel pieces remain on sites for months, adding to untidy condition of site. This steel quantity is kept either for use further on smaller members or for sale as scrap. It should not cluster on site to cause obstruction. It's recommended to remove such scraps sooner better so that its obstruction on site and chances of punctures or injuries to someone could be minimized. During wooden formwork fabrication, timber is used in large quantity, giving rise to pile up of considerable quantity of wooden powder and smaller pieces of cut wood and cut ply. Such cut pieces are prone to catch fire in hot weather. These pieces should not cluster on site areas. Moreover, when blown with high wind, these pieces are flown to spoil site areas and threaten to enter into eyes and nose. Remove such waste sooner would be better. All working areas shall be cleaned daily when work is closed. Maintenance workshops. Flammable liquids, including paints, thinners, and solvent, shall be kept in purpose-built containers away from source of ignition. Rags, cardboards, or other carbonaceous materials contaminated by oil or other combustibles shall be disposed of on a regular basis to prevent hazard buildup and would be placed in a sealed container. Areas around lathes and other rotating equipment shall be kept free of trip hazards and would have safe access maintained. Maintenance pits shall be regularly cleaned and have all liquid build up removed. Sump oil shall be drained and contained in sealed container. General considerations. When storing or placing materials such as boxes, pallets or containers, supervisor shall ensure that they do not pose a to workers from elevated stacking, lifting, tripping or blocking egress routes. Laboratories and workshops shall be maintained clear of debris, waste and other rubbish which would be disposed of in accordance with manufacturer's instruction, guidelines and meet environment controls requirement. Nominated subcontractors shall ensure that sufficient time is allowed to clear each day's accumulated construction waste and general rubbish. From time to time, contractor may require the use of specialist crews to do a general site or specific area cleanup. Instances of poor housekeeping that results in creation of a tripping, slipping or fire hazard shall be immediately dealt with. Materials shall be stacked. Materials shall be stacked and stored in a safe manner that prevents sliding, falling or collapse. Waste disposal containers shall be positioned or to receive food waste. Other areas used for eating shall be kept clean and tidy. Such areas are required to be air conditioned or at least well ventilated. Water should not be allowed to be spread all over site. Proper draining out arrangements must be made. All blown over plastic bags and other rubbish papers should be removed promptly. Site and camp sewage should be emptied out frequently using sewage transport tankers. Sewage containment is recommended in place of septic tanks on those sites where connections to municipal drainage are not available. Containments do not allow water to come out of containment to flow into soil. Containments are environment friendly. Training, boring one, right? Nobody wants training, people want training, in fact. Now, what is this actually? This procedure of training, scope is what, This applies to all construction safety training activities to be conducted on project undertaken by EPC contractor. As such, it could be a requirement for revision, updating when project requires further attainment on safety training to be identified for imparting to personal workers. As such, it will be a requirement for revision, updating when project requires further attainment on safety training to be identified for imparting to personal workers. What is purpose? Purpose of this procedure provides guidelines for types, classes of training to be provided on construction projects. Training courses should be devised with an intention that trainees find it interesting and useful. It should help safety, project, organization, and personnel. Once personnel are trained, it's made a virtual asset for organization. No major change. So we go to next page. Better to waste time. Why to waste time? I think to read this better. Responsibilities. I have to read them. It's better to know something. It looks. These are EPC, contractor, subcontractor, like that, responsibilities. This is important one, interesting one. Responsibilities. EPC contractor shall manage. EPC contractor site manager is responsible for ensuring that contractor, field personnel, and subcontractors organizations are do adhere to requirements of this procedure and shall arrange for a project training facility to be made available or established at site for imparting to contractor and subcontractors personnel, ensuring that a review of adequacy or sufficiency pertinent construction safety training program is implemented every 6 months frequency. I repeat, in addition, site manager shall arrange for a project. Okay. So you can say in this EPC contractor site manager shall arrange for a project training facility which has to be made available at site for imparting to contractor and subcontractors personnel, ensuring that a review of adequacy, sufficiency, pertinent construction safety training program is implemented every 6 months frequency or earlier. This means whoever is responsible has to establish one training center for safety for everybody according to contract requirement. Safety training program is implemented every 6 months. So establish a training center is first requirement for everyone. If you don't establish this training center, the equipment if required, all facilities required, you cannot train your people. That's first point. Now that site manager is responsible for effective communication, adherence, compliance to this procedure throughout, availability pertinent to subcontract organization, and shall assign responsibilities to subcontractor safety department. EPC contractor site HSCS manager shall be responsible for compliance. Means first is this manager who is responsible for effective communication, adherence, compliance to this procedure throughout, availability, pertinent subcontractor organization, and assign responsibility to subcontractor HSC department for implementation of this procedure in full compliance. Then you can say this contractor site HSCS manager, safety manager, shall be responsible for designing, planning, implementing, and you can say this manager, safety manager, shall be responsible for designing, planning, implementing, and monitoring training program. Designing program is very important here. What sort of training you want to give, you have to design that depending on nature of site and general safety. So designing, planning, implementing, and monitoring training program. Subcontractors HSC and E, subcontractor SH or safety department shall be responsible for planning and implementation of training program for subcontractor personnel and to monitor effectiveness, adequacy, sufficiency of training given. They shall also develop a database for all training imparted. Contractor and subcontractor site HSC managers shall jointly develop training material described in this procedure to ensure commonality and alignment with project specific needs. So, contractor and subcontractor safety managers shall jointly develop training material described in this procedure, ensure commonality and alignment with project specific needs. New start instruction. All employees on being assigned to a construction project, regardless of experience, shall receive a new start induction covering following points: project overview, a description of project and an understanding of hazards; EPC contractor commitment to safety and overview of HSE management systems. Overview of HSE management system. Site organization and a description of how project is structured. We can say project overview, a description of project and understanding of hazards; EPC contractor commitment to HSE and overview of HSE management systems; site organization and description of how project is structured; site organization and a description of how project is structured; individual responsibilities, zero accident philosophy, principal hazards in construction, and temporary and permanent electrical systems working. You can say principal hazards in construction, temporary and permanent electrical systems working. Program elements, safety assessment, steering committee, self-assessment program, safety inspections. Program elements, safety assessment, steering committee, self-assessment program, safety inspections, site security arrangements, disciplinary procedures. Overview of site rules and regulations, a part of training as well. Overview of site rules and regulations, risk assessments, start card JHA, job hazards assessment, and start safety task analysis, risk review technique, task talks and toolbox talks, incident reporting, hazard reporting, medical protocol, emergency procedures, emergency evacuation, housekeeping and waste management.